So when we're talking about remainder and factor theorem, the remainder theorem is just telling you what the remainder is when you divide two polynomials. The reason that's important is because if the remainder ends up being 0, then you know that the 1 is a factor of the other polynomial. Okay? So we're going to do some division so that we can see what our remainders are and how this all works. We are going to start with some simple long division ones. We'll see what you remember. All right, what you're dividing by, your divisor goes outside. And then your 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 goes underneath. What do you think? Does it matter if your polynomial is in order? Yes, it has to go in order from biggest to smallest. And does it matter if we skip any exponents? It matters, yes. You'd put like a 0x squared or a 0x, whatever one you were missing to hold the place, okay? All right, then how you start. What do I take x times to get 2x squared? 2x, so you write that above. Okay, does everybody see this? What do I take x times to get 2x squared? Just think for 2x, okay? That's what you were.
So it goes over the one to the right.
It really doesn't matter, it's just the first number up here. Okay. All right, then what I'm going to do is take that 2x times everything that's out here. So 2x times x is 2x squared. Plus 2x. So I'm looking, what I'm dividing by, what do I need to take this times to get this? All right, once you're there, you subtract. Thinking that has nothing to do with long division. You guys want to maybe like pull out the earbuds and pay attention here? Your laughter in the middle of a long division gave you away. I don't buy it. All right. So let's subtract. So what's 2x squared minus 2x squared? Okay, 0. That has to cancel out every time. If it doesn't, you have done something wrong and you need to go try again. Yes. Then negative 3x minus 2x. What do I get?
1 is negative.
So negative 5x? All right, this is where people make the mistake. They're subtracting.
Oh, it's
Minus 2x. Absolutely. Okay, then we bring down our next number, so bring down minus 5. Just x's, yeah, it makes it a little trickier. All right, guys, then we start over. What do I take x times to get negative 5x? Negative 5. And then I multiply again, so that's going to give me negative 5x minus 5. And then I subtract again. All right. What do I get after I subtract?
0.
So you start the process over again. This is where I was.
Yeah, I got that.
Okay. What do I take x times to get negative 5x?
Negative 5.
Oh, okay. Okay, and then that times all of this goes to
Okay.
Okay. You get 0. That means your remainder is 0. You got plus 1? So I multiplied it by negative 5. Negative 5 times x is negative 5x. Negative 5 times plus 1 is negative 5. When you're figuring out what to multiply by, it has nothing to do with this. It's only first term to first term. But you do multiply it by. Yes. All right, so when I subtract, I got 0, no remainder. That means my answer is just 2x minus 5.
Well, it's actually a plus, though.
How come for the factoring you only
You only can make the first terms match. Like, that's the only piece you have to worry about. You multiply it by the 2x and the negative 5 once you find them, but you don't use it to find them. You see, like,
If it was x plus 2, you have to multiply that by 2.
yeah, so if it had been x plus 2, this would have been a 4x, and this would have been like a 10. All right, let's try again. I think we need a little bit of repetition with these today. Yeah. All right, so on the outside goes my x minus 1. What do I need to be careful of underneath on this one? Right, so I'm going to write 2x cubed plus 0x squared minus 3x minus 4. Oh, okay, I was like, all we did was write it down. I was a little worried. If you're struggling on that part. Oh, no. It's on your paper, right?
Well, I forgot this.
Okay, yes, the 0 matters. All right, so let's start from the beginning.
2x squared.
Yes.
Got it.
Everybody okay with 2x squared? Then what do I do with that 2x squared?
Then you multiply the whole x.
Drop it there.
Right, so that's going to be 2x cubed minus 2x squared. Then subtract the whole thing. What do I end up with?
0.
2x squared. Right? 0 minus negative 2x squared is positive 2x squared. Bring down minus 3x.
Oh, dumb. I forgot. That's for the 0x. 0x squared.
The 0 matters, because then you're trying to do 3x minus 2x squared, and that does not make sense. Okay. Yeah, because you bring down, you want to have as many terms as you have out in front. Since I have 2 out in front, I want to make sure I've got 2 in my next row.
Okay, then you start all over.
We start all over. So what goes up above?
1.
No.
Plus 2x.
Plus 2x, yes. Ben, do you see what we're doing?
Look at the wrong number.
Oh, okay. All right, what do I take x times to get 2x squared? Okay, now I take 2x. That goes my next row. So I'd have 2x squared minus 2x. And then I would be subtracting. Thus the name long division.
With the 2x squared and then 2x cubed, just be the same for every combination. Like the other one, it's like 2x squared and then 5x.
I don't understand what you're asking.
It's the same number.
Well, the numbers are not going to be the same. Like, we happen to have a 2x and we happen to have a 2x, but there's no, like, it all has to do with what the numbers out here and the numbers in here. All right, then I subtract. What do I get?
You get negative 5x minus
No. Negative 1x, yes.
Got it.
Oh, it's
How
plus
about the
8.
game?
Okay. So we have to do it one more time then. What do I take x times to get negative x?
-1.
Okay.
Messed up.
And then I multiply again. So that's going to give me negative x plus 1. And then I subtract. For negative 5, I would agree with that. Okay. We are past the point of writing like r negative 5. Okay, that's not how we write our remainders anymore.
Got it.
You're always going to do a plus for me. And then your remainder, which is negative 5, over what you're dividing by. So over x minus 1. Yes, you could have just written minus 5 over x minus 1, but when your numerator starts to have more than one term, you're going to mess up signs if you don't just do plus and then the remainder over the divisor. Okay. I think we need at least one more of those before we do something else. Right? Are we okay with that one? we're getting there? So like the first one, if I took x plus 1 times 2x minus 5, I would get 2x squared minus 3x minus 5. Okay. Alright, so let's try again. Let's do... So I don't... Squeeze this in wherever you want to squeeze it in. Let's do x plus 2... No, I don't want to do it 2, because then Nick will think there's always 2. Okay, you guys try this one. I'll give you a minute here.
What?
So, we got 6x squared,
Well, what's 3x squared times 2?
6x squared, so once you get
That's 7x. Yeah, I do that.
95.
I did it quickly. Did I add wrong anywhere? Because negative 1x squared minus 6x squared is negative 7x squared.
I like that.
Okay.
3x squared times 2. Like that very first number I picked up above, don't I multiply that times x plus 2?
Yeah, I was kind of
3x squared times x?
Wait, why would it
We
be
gotta do one more.
3x squared? Oh. Squared.
Taylor, you're first. You're picking this number. You take that times both of those. So 3x squared times x is 3x cubed. 3x squared times 2 is 6x. It's 3. Negative 1 minus 6.
Wait, Mr. Lee, I'm like confused.
Yeah, you use that number, you just don't use it to pick up it.
So,
Yeah.
wait, I have a question. So when you get
Yes. Let
When
me
you get-
answer next question.
7x squared plus 5x, you get this, Do you multiply 5x by...
No, what do I take x times to get negative 7x squared?
Third?
That times both of those gives me those. Then you subtract.
5x. Then you take... okay. Then you get negative 14x. Okay.
Okay. Alright guys, I'm writing another one.
Whoa.
I'm gonna add something to it.
Basically, I'm still. Yeah, keep the shield still right level.
I will.
Don't worry. Okay, whoa. Oh, wait.
Wait,
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I think the last one.
Hold on. No, you can do it. Okay.
Run that.
I'm gonna make it so you can see the last one and this one. Yes. What went wrong, Chris?
Okay, so if you do negative 7,
Mm-hmm.
when you get negative, so you would have the negative 7 x squared plus the 5x. And then when you multiply by negative 7.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, Kevin. I'm letting people still sort out the last one, okay? It's all Chris's fault. No, it's okay.
All of these questions.
Yeah? Welcome back, Ben. Nope, just the first term. But then you multiply by all three. It's actually faster when you have 3 terms out in front because you
Yeah,
go through them quicker. It looks scarier, but it's really not. Chris, can I scroll down a little? Or?
Is it negative 42?
Yeah. I want you to try it. I'll do step 1 with you. Do it all so you can see.
You can still bring down,
Yeah.
and it'll give you 3 terms.
Yep, since you're dividing by 3 terms, you always need to have 3. Taylor, does step 1 make sense?
Yeah.
And then you just repeat that process.
what process would
Figure out what you're multiplying by. Multiply, subtract. Figure out what you're multiplying by. Multiply, subtract. Like, that's all you're doing. So, what am I multiplying by? How do I turn that into that? Okay,
You just gave it.
what do you multiply by? How do you turn x squared into x cubed?
X squared.
No, x squared times x squared is not x cubed.
Oh, x cubed. Then x.
Okay? But there's a negative, so...
How do you get that point? That's what.
Okay. Did you understand these numbers or not?
Not really. I guess that like x squared times x squared.
Oh.
The tiniest erase. Okay. The process that you're going to repeat over and over throughout every problem. First term here.
Yeah.
What do I take in times to get first term here? Okay, you write that down. That's the extent of what you understand.
Yes.
That's step 1. Okay. Step 2 is to multiply. This times all of that. Alright. So that is x to the 4th.
Yeah.
Slate, was it remainder 3?
It does not matter where it is. If you write it anywhere, just write it over.
Slate, was it
I could bring it here. I could start it over here. It does not matter. It does not have to line up with what you There's no alignment here.
Yes, I
I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna subtract, so x to the 1 minus x to the 4.
This is supposed to be the easy part.
Wait, minus
I wrote the
that
first
makes
part
that
wrong.
1.
Yeah, I've never paid for
X squared.
X squared. I got plus pieces.
I think that's what went wrong.
Okay.
So it's negative x cubed. And then 2x squared minus 4x squared is negative 2x squared.
I got that.
Okay,
What next?
repeat. It's like shampoo. Okay, just do it again. First term,
I changed it to
to get, that's a 3, not a 2. To get the first term there, what do we do?
It is minus.
What do I take that times to get
Chris,
this?
you're right.
Okay.
Okay. So a minus a minus is a plus.
And then what do I do next?
And you get
0. Oh. Okay.
What are all the other ones?
I
and then the
Times.
oh,
Okay, that makes
just be the
sense.
first one.
You have to do first term to first term, and then you figure it out by multiplying everything. You're not going to be able to get all 3 of these to match all 3 of these.
You said you got 8x minus 13.
No, for the and then I'm going to subtract again. You get it right.
No, it's minus. Because then when you subtract the 3, it's minus a minus.
Yeah, the negatives are definitely what caused problems here. Negative 2 minus 2. Guys, you have to be very careful with your negatives. If you screw up one sign in this, it messes everything up after it. Be careful when you subtract. Take the time to actually subtract. Got it? How many of you got that one? I got like
Instead of 19, I got minus 13. So I mixed up the one
so
sign.
you got everything except the very last number.
Because I mixed up the plus or minus sign with 16.
Yep. The signs are very Well, yeah, that's not gonna work. All right, guys. We're gonna go back to your notes and do synthetic division. We'll come back to make sure you're still remembering this at the end. Okay. We'll revisit. Varun, you got it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. So, synthetic division is a shortcut. It doesn't always work though. It doesn't work in every situation. Like that problem we just did where we were dividing by x squared something something. Synthetic will not work. It only works if what you're dividing by is a linear term. Do you guys see how all of these just have an x? And your coefficient on x is 1. Then you can do synthetic division. Okay, the way you write it. I look at what I'm dividing by, so in this case x minus 2. What would make that 0 if x were 2? So 2 goes outside. And then in my weird little box here, I put the coefficients for my problems.
And
1.
I'm sorry, I was not paying attention, sorry, but when you know to do it.
Thank you for the apology. Okay, so see what we're dividing by in all 4 of these problems. Do you see how it's just an x and then plus or minus a number? That's the only time. If what I was dividing by, like if this said x squared plus 1, you can't do synthetic division. It has to be linear, and the coefficient has to be a 1.
Yeah.
Okay?
Which one do you like better?
Well, long division will always work.
Oh.
This is just like a quicker way to do some of the problems. Okay? All right. Is everybody okay with what I've written over there? It's kind of hard to see. Can't pick a color I like to. Again, guys, everything has to be in order. You know, exponents have to be decreasing. If you skip something, you have to put a 0 to hold the place. All right, then the way you start, you bring down the first number, so that's a 1. Okay, then you multiply by that number out in front. So 1 times 2 is 2. The difference now with synthetic, instead of subtracting, what do you think we do? We add.
Oh.
Sorry. So -3 plus 2 is -1. And what do I do?
Multiply by 2.
Yep, so I get -2. And then I add. I get -1. I multiply. I get -2. My last number is -6. All right, guys, your answer is not 1, -1, -1, -6, okay? You have to do something else to that. We have to put it back in terms of x. So think about this. This started out as x to the third, right? I was dividing it by x, so what am I going to have?
X squared.
Yes, so that's 1x squared. You can just write x squared if you want. Then minus 1x, so just minus x. Minus 1, and then what does that make the -6? So I'm going to do plus -6 over x minus 2.
You only gotta do plus or negative.
I would, and just take the negative to your numerator. When we did, like here, if you had done minus and then 8x plus 19, you'd be wrong because that negative distributes to the numerator. So it's easier if you just get in the habit of plus and then remainder over divisor. Yes.
Like, why do we do 2?
What makes your denominator 0? All right, so let's do number 4 together, then I'll have you do the last 2 on your own there. So what is going to go outside? -1. My coefficients are 2, -3, -5. Bring down the 2. Multiply.
So you pull out the opposite of
Yes, it's whatever would make that 0. Add. Multiply.
Oh, that's awesome. You don't use 0.
Yes. So you get 2x minus 5.
That's a lot quicker.
It is a lot quicker.
You
Yeah.
have to do multiplication.
So does this work in every situation?
No.
Okay.
But the 2 problems don't get
So how do you know? How do you know?
Or people change it if it was like squared.
Yeah, like what you did back here. Like that. You cannot do that one with synthetic.
Look at it, man. It's the way we need it.
We did. All right, guys, try 5 and 6 for me. Yes,
So
Ben.
we could have done it from the top.
Yes, I was just having you practice with easy ones first. Ben.
If, so for number 6,
Okay.
it skips x squared, you still put a 0 in.
Yes, so you're gonna have your 1 out there. You're gonna have 2, 0, -3. Yeah, as a placeholder you do. So much quicker. Zero, yes. Guys, on number 6, make sure you put that 0 in there for the x squared spot.
How do you know if that's a remainder or
So if you get a number here, it has a remainder. You get 0. That's all. It's not bad, really. Long division's harder because you have to subtract, and you guys get scared when you subtract. You get scared. Fractions, subtraction, those things scare you.
Damn, we got it right.
Negatives are scary. No, I have to show you some other stuff, but it's not harder. We started with the hard part today. All right, you okay? How you doing? Okay. Yeah, it does think that if you like mess up one number, everything after that is wrong. It's real fun for me grading when you mess up one number. Just do it perfect. Makes it not easy. Oh, sorry, were you okay with it?
Yeah.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead and turn the page. It's actually not that hard. Okay. All right, guys. So the remainder theorem, we talked about if the remainder was 0, then you knew it was a factor. The remainder theorem kind of provides another way for you to check to see if you got it right on those synthetic division ones. So let's do number 7 here. I'm going to do my synthetic division. 1, -3, 1, -4. 1, 2, -1, -2, -2, -6. And I'm just going to stack this. Sorry, I'm multiplying and What? I'm not scared. Nope. Yeah. That was just me doing synthetic division with that. And I'll explain what we're looking at here once everybody's caught up. That's okay. All right. So the way you can check and what the remainder theorem does for you, if I take this number I'm dividing by out here and plug it in everywhere there's an x in my numerator. So if I do 2 cubed minus 3 times 2 squared plus 2 minus 4. Does everybody understand what I did there? Just plug it in for the x. If I evaluate that, I'd have 8 minus 3 times 4 plus 2 minus 4. So 8 minus minus 12 plus 2 minus 4. What do I get there? What's 8 minus 12? Negative 4 plus 2 minus 4, negative 6. Does that match my remainder?
Yes.
Yes. Then I know I did it right. And that's just another way you can find your remainder, is by plugging that in. This is why I can't record you guys. Alright guys, so the next one, it says find P of 5. Okay, P of 5, that means plug in a 5, which means you're dividing by 5. So that's another way of me asking you to do synthetic division with a 5 as your number outside. Okay, so you just have to make sure you understand directions here. So P of 5 means do this with a 5 after. So, yes.
What do you mean if 6?
What does what mean?
Like, what does it mean if the 6?
So they will always match unless you do it wrong. So that's kind of like your way to check. You have two ways to find the remainder. You can do synthetic division and find the remainder, or you can plug that number in that you're dividing by and find the remainder. Okay. So it's a way to check. If you do it and those do not match, then you messed up somewhere. Okay. So I'm going to go through. I have 1, 5, 2, 10, 11, 55, 51. So when I ask you just for P of 5, I don't want the whole synthetic division. What's the only number I care about? The remainder. So I would say P of 5 equals 51. That's the only thing I want. Yeah, it's simple. It's just understanding what the directions are asking you to do. Yeah, you can plug it in if you want to check, but I'm confident in our adding. Yeah, it's just another way to check. And since I said find P of 5 using synthetic division, like, you had to show the synthetic division together. Okay? Alright, next section it says factor completely using the given factor in long division. Look at what I'm dividing by. Do you think I have to do long division on that?
No.
No, so I'm going to cross that out. We'll just say in division. You pick. Alright. I'm telling you that's a factor. So what are you expecting to get as your remainder? 0. Yeah, you should have no remainder if it's a factor. So if you go through and you get a remainder, go try again. Okay? You did not do it right. So I'm going to start my synthetic division. 1, negative 2, negative 6, 4, 6. Okay, yay, I got a 0. Okay, something went wrong.
I got a 0.
Do you see what happened? Okay. But that's a good way to check. Like, it's a good way to go like, oh, okay, got stuff aside. Now, do you think I'm done after the or the division? Yeah. What do the directions say? Factor completely. So I now need to factor this x squared minus 4x plus 3. So what does that factor into? Minus 3x minus 1. And if you're factoring completely, you have to include the given factor. So I have to also have my x plus 2. That is your final answer. If I multiply those 3 factors together, I'd get back to what I started with. Okay? You okay with 10? more in the notes, and then we'll do another long division just to make sure you guys are okay. Okay, so let me read this one to you. Use the remainder theorem to determine which binomial is a factor, and then use that binomial to factor completely. Okay, do you guys have any idea what that means?
You do one. You see if it gets to 0.
Yes.
Doesn't it?
Perfect. And then after you get the one that's to 0, yes, very good. So which one do you want to start with, x plus 5 or x minus 2?
X plus 5 first.
Okay. And guys, when I get to that point of 55, is there any chance I'm going to get a 0 at the end? No. So do I need to finish my synthetic division with this one?
No.
No, I know it's not going to work. I'm going to cross it out. So let's do our 2. Okay, for it to work, like for it to be a factor, what would I need my remainder to be?
0.
Okay, I'm getting like negative 5 plus 55 and then times 5. Is there any chance? Okay, so stop. But your 2 should work. So you should end up with 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. And then we get to factor that. I don't care. Grouping, guess and check, whatever you want to do. Just make sure you can factor. And if you can't factor, like if you really struggle with factoring when there's a leading coefficient, you should probably come into Warhawk time a few times and do some practice with factoring to make sure you're okay with it. I can print you some extra practice to do. And then guys, don't forget the x minus 2. Don't forget the one that's given to you. Questions on that one, guys? Are you okay with the factoring? Yeah. Okay, that one wasn't too bad. All right, so let's do one more long division just to make sure you guys remember. I'm just gonna make one up.
One of them.
That's what she just asked. I said I'm just gonna make one up. So.
Should have done my voice then.
All right, guys, try this one. Yes. What do you think?
Yes. Would you plus or constant?
What do you mean?
Like plus 0.
Oh, it really doesn't matter. I would do plus, but guys, any time an exponent gets skipped, you have to do the 0. Okay, you've got to have the placeholder. This one has some decent sized numbers.
It's 5 times 3.
20,
Forget it.
When you're ready, guys, look up here. Make sure I didn't subtract wrong at any point.
Because I added those or subtracted, so 4x cubed, 3x cubed,
What's 3 times 3?
9. Oh, okay. So, but then even after that, 4x minus,
It's negative 4x cubed.
oh, it is. So I just done this problem.
Okay, what's 10 times 3? What's 4 times 3? What's 30 plus 12? Yeah. I don't actually ever like multiply big numbers. I do them in pieces and then put them together. I'm gonna go back to this. Alright guys, your homework, you're gonna just do odds. I'll leave this up here so you can check. Promise.
Oh my gosh.
It's multiplying and adding and subtracting. So this might be overstating it a bit by calling it mistake. Did you get it?
The way I use plus minus squared.
Sorry, Chris.